Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast One Piece reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is One Piece episodes 569 and 570. Leave a like and subscribe. We're in the concluding section of this arc, I imagine, unless some insane happens that completely restarts the conflict, but...
The ship just flies into the air again and smashes everything.
Yeah, we're entering the epilogue portion. So we'll see what happens now. We'll learn, hopefully there's a little bit more secrets, a little bit more stuff to learn. We'll find out. Leave a like and subscribe, please and thank you. Patreon.com/BOLDcast. In the description, in the pinned comment. Get ahead. Hope you enjoy. Let's freaking go. Oh, about the slaves.
Luffy just kills that guy.
Yeah, what is he gonna do with them? You kill them, that's not good. You banish them, they'll just go wreak havoc other places, give Fishman a bad name.
Give him a stern slap on the wrist.
Yeah, be like your wife. Beat them up and keep
an eye on you.
We're just stopping by.
I'm just passing through. What do you mean he escaped?
Escaped?
What do you mean escaped?
What do you mean escaped?
They weren't free to go? They're just leaving? Look at Megalo pulling them.
That's exactly what Luffy said.
What about meat? Come on, Jinbei.
Come on. He's probably gonna stay and help, like, transition things.
Luffy's like, I cannot rest.
Come on, Jinbei. No.
No. Freaking Usopp.
Uh-oh.
This. Well,
Now you're speaking my language.
Turn around, let's go.
They just change their mind instantly.
So good.
So they're just sealing it right off.
Damn. They made sure that no one was still down there. Good idea. Oh. He's just taking him super far away and leaving him.
Well, I hope he's like a kid, isn't he? I don't know. I honestly don't even know. I hope he's all right, I guess.
Yeah. Whoa, a lot of them. Stage. Can Brook do a performance?
Okay.
Big performance here. Holy, there's so many soldiers.
The command she has over the audience. Let Brook on the stage. Was this in the manga?
They should do a duet. Brook should go over there too. Very nice. Look at Jinbei, he looks so happy.
Don't.
Mermaids?
Okay, he's
Sanji
gonna...
just actually dies just to cap off the arc.
Nice, nice.
Oh my god. Chopper's like, you're ruining the show! Let him die. Ooh, with the fish.
Where's Caribou?
Yeah, what happened? I guess he just left. Hope we find him one day and beat him up. Relax.
Yeah.
Freaking guys. even them. A little line. No one saves him. Oh, they're actually gonna go again.
He's dead.
You're gonna die soon. It might be because of me. You can try. We said a banquet, not deplete our entire food stores.
I mean, they invited Luffy. What do they
oh,
expect?
look, Brook's playing.
Mm-hmm. What's going on outside? Robin?
Was she gonna talk to him?
I couldn't even tell if it was actually Robin.
It looked like Robin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Oh boy!
Robin.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Tell us right now. He's like, the what?
Oh, he was apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us everything. What? Oh no, no isn't. No, I'll tell you. Oh my god, holy shit, really?
Probably the last one that could talk to the Sea Kings.
The queen did.
Oh.
Poseidon.
Oh.
Poseidon. Easily. They talk about Pluton all the time since Water 7, but they've mentioned Poseidon or Poseidon once. Or twice, maybe more than once. I don't think we knew that it was pointing in a direction like where it was, or that she knew where it was.
No, I didn't know that.
I thought that she would get a piece of information like that from when she was going around with Dragon, but no, apparently she has known this whole time that it was pointing in this direction.
Interesting. And I guess it makes a lot of sense, yeah. If you're a person that can control Sea Kings, then like you're basically like an insane weapon if you can control Sea Kings and have them talk to you and listen to you. Not to mention if you have this boat that's supposed to do, you know, something. Damn. He doesn't like it.
Not happy about it because it means that she bears a crazy responsibility. And she'll have to see a lot more pain probably if this is leading up to some kind of a war or some kind of crazy shit.
Especially as part of a prophecy that's like, you know, during the gap in history that no one knows what happened because it was so fucking crazy that there is no record of it and it's been scrubbed from history, was the last time that there was a mermaid that had these powers, and she was like basically like put on hold to like pull the trigger on like some crazy thing that was gonna happen, but it didn't happen. But then supposedly one day someone's gonna come in and be like, all right, let's go, time to do whatever it is they're gonna be doing. And she's gonna have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Damn. I wasn't expecting that. I honestly wasn't even expecting to get there's such small doses of the information about the poneglyphs and stuff. I didn't even know if he was gonna tell us or anything like that.
Then who the fuck is this Joy Boy then?
Yeah, he conveniently didn't, like, I mean, he said he was a guy from the surface.
Who will, he seems like he's the leader of maybe whatever rebellion, because this is like the Void Century was probably like the destruction, or we know that from O'Hara. I thought like the ancient kingdom that like was destroyed by what of the peoples that came together that were eventually the world government, or maybe it was the other way around. I'm doubting myself now, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that's all pretty set in stone based on what I'm pretty sure Robin was told that when she was really little. And then, apparently, and I mean, it goes back to, like, there's Pluton, and which seems to be a made weapon that that Crocodile was seeking, and that Franky had the plans for. So, what does that mean? So, it was my, I postulated, but way back in the day, when we first heard these names in like Alabasta, Skypiea times, that, you know, it was relating to the planets. Because like Poseidon is it the Greek or the Roman version of Neptune?
Yeah.
So like the planet. So, and then there's Pluton, which is like Pluto. So then, and it would make sense for, you know, a series that is geared towards people who it's geared towards like kids or younger boys to like have operate within like a framework of something they would understand. So like you hear Pluton, or you start putting together, and then it's like, oh, the planets, and it immediately kind of, the idea is, maybe it doesn't really matter the demographic, but the idea is it puts in your head, there's these two which slot into these things. Well, that means that there's a total of 9
potentially, yeah,
weapons. And then with all the shit doing with the sun, like there's so much sun iconography in the series so far, especially in this arc. You know, maybe there's maybe that's like the 10th weapon or whatever. And these have all been ideas that we've kind of thrown around previously as well. But it seems like the information that the weapon is a person or an inherited ability is news to us.
Because the Noah isn't necessarily like, you know, we didn't inspect it necessarily, but the ship itself didn't seem to be a weapon in the way that you know, Pluton was kind of hyped up as being that is the weapon.
Yeah, and we didn't know what it was, but we anticipated it could have been like a big arc or something like that, like a big ancient thing. But.
Yeah, but like this, like there's no like guns or cannons or like and there's nothing about the Noah, and the fact that it's called the Noah is like potentially like a lifeboat or like a like that's kind of the idea that comes to mind for something like that, which like, you know, I don't really know what that means in like terms of its place within this like, you know, ancient war.
Yeah.
You know, if it's to, you know, something will go so crazy that you need this boat to like come in and rescue people, or
maybe it wasn't like at the right time they were fighting this crazy war, but they need the life. But you know, that to me is like, obviously the arc would be it's a lifeboat, but we don't know if that's the plan that Oda has for it, if it's just like big ancient boat, because that's like, there was the reason why we didn't think that, say, Pluton, for example, was an arc if it was like a giant, powerful ancient ship, is because Eneru made like a big fake arc. And it was like, okay, is Oda doing that to foreshadow this future arc that he has? Or it kind of feels like you used that idea on this thing. But then here, it's been enough time, time has passed, and this thing is clearly a lot different than the thing that Enel had. Yeah. I'm not saying it is Pluton, but I don't know what I'm saying, I guess, in that case. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, the weapon is Poseidon, and the use that they were planning for to use that weapon, or what, say, the 5 Elder Stars would be afraid of if they're, like, trying to cover up the Void Sentry or all this stuff, is that they would use the Sea Kings with this ship to do something, and we don't know what that is. It could just be like, oh, with the amount of people that you could fit on that ship, you could wreak some serious havoc, but, you know, that doesn't necessarily make it more powerful than, like, the Sunny. Necessarily. It's just big. It has a lot of HP, but that doesn't mean that it's like really Luffy big almost and powerful. Destroyed it in like a couple of minutes. Especially like the person who has the power is a mermaid, so she can just be in the water. Like, she doesn't need a boat to do anything, right? Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a lot of like things that kind of confuse the issue in a way that make it hard to predict exactly how this would slot in, or like it's hard to use what the information we got here as a way of like, oh, if we extrapolate that, then they must have been trying to do this, or like if they had this power, they could do something like this in a war, or they could do, you know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of one of those things that's a piece of information. It's a lot of big information, but it's the kind of thing you got to file away and then add to it later when you get more information. I guess that's the point, but I still feel like fucking Robin's holding out on us with the shit. Like, she spent 2 years with Dragon going around doing stuff, maybe just studying, and she didn't, like, she hasn't shared.
I feel like she's got to learn something.
She's got to have something in her back pocket. She's just saving it. But yeah.
Very good. Cool reveal that the shirahoshi.
Yeah, and then who the fuck is Joy Boy?
Yeah, she asks who is Joy Boy, and then instead, like, he's
like the mermaid princess who lived around the same time as Joy Boy. All this other information about her. It's like, all right, I didn't ask that.
Joy Boy was a guy who lived on a surface. Okay, that narrows it down. Literally not at all. There's like billions of people on the surface. Like, it's still something, but I'm like, you know, it makes me feel like it's important, but they're specifically holding out on it to reveal it later, and probably not for a really long time. If, like, this is the reveal of Poseidon, which was from Skypiea, which was like hundreds of you know what I mean?
And now they're saying more than 800 years ago. They're specifically dictating more than 800 years ago, and the Void Century happened more than 800 years ago. So what that is telling me, that it could be 800 and the Void Century happened 899 years ago or something, like, and then it would be 1 year away from us being 1,000 years from the start of the Void Century. So maybe they're setting up something like that, because I was looking that up last time, like because there's all the stuff with planets and like the sun and stuff. At the end of last discussion, I was looking up on my phone. I didn't bring it up because the answer was unsatisfying for what I was thinking, but I was looking up, like, how many times, like, how often do the planets, like, align? Like, if there's all the stuff with the planets and the sun, or there's all these kind of things, maybe Oda's, if Oda's playing on all the stuff with planets, maybe he's playing on it in a different way, and it's like because now they're bringing in like some prophecy and stuff like that, you know. But it turns out it's like once every 40 years, or like different like more significant events happen like once every fucking 1,000,000 years or something. So it wasn't satisfying for this kind of theorizing, but anyway. So I don't know how this is all going to turn out, but they're definitely starting to set some end game stuff, because what storytelling wise, what's all this for? Is this just cool lore about the past? No, it's setting up a final confrontation of sorts way down the line for like a finale type experience. That's the goal. Like that's and we kind of talked about that last episode when the Sea Kings, or a couple episodes or whatever it was, when the Sea Kings were talking. Yeah. You know, is it setting up that's like a common thing that shonen do, or like a different series. It's like, okay, we explored for a while. Now here's a bunch of shit that I've been layering over time, and then, you know, post times get perfect time to start clarifying what, like, and setting expectations for what we're going to go for. I don't know how many people are thinking about this stuff like this. I imagine, like, a lot of people now that, like, One Piece, I imagine, is getting closer to the end, and where more of this stuff is becoming more relevant, but I'm not 100% sure, obviously. But, you know, that's where all this theorizing comes from. It's not like, I don't know. It's just it's kind of what happens in stories like this. It's like, that's why you do all this. It's not just world building and cool stuff. The world building is setting up something for our characters to do. I mean,
this is still pretty crazy. We can marinate on it and talk about it in the discussion once we've like let it simmer a little bit more. But I feel like I do still feel like Robin knows more than Robin knows more than I know, and I wish she would tell me.
Yeah, I'm okay with Neptune knowing more than I know, or people like that, but I'm not okay with Robin holding out on me.
Count your days, Robin. Good episode, nice little banquet, and then everyone's like, they're heroes, and Luffy's like, shut the fuck up, give me some meat.
How does this all connect to the One Piece? You know, like, that's where I'm thinking. It's like, there's all the poneglyphs, and it's like Roger was here, and he had the poneglyph audiobook, like this has to be One Piece, right? This has to be like where like we're headed towards, and the way we just got the One Piece's reel from Whitebeard. Is this all headed towards that? Whatever, like, is this all pointing to that? And like maybe we get the One Piece and then we can finally strike back against the world government. Is that kind of what's going on here?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe part of it is like part of the reason why Gold Roger like sacrificed himself and like set everyone else after is because it like wasn't the right time for him. Like Shirahoshi, wouldn't have been alive at that point.
He put the pieces together before it was time. So then he died, or maybe he realized maybe he like became terminally ill, and maybe he realized that the time was getting close or something, because like the more poneglyphs he had, there's probably information about whatever this prophecy is or whatever is going on here. So but you know, it's also hard because we don't know exactly how much Roger cares. Like Roger, it's kind of a dichotomy in One Piece that's hard to talk about, because they made a big deal this episode and in the last few episodes about like, we're not heroes. But then it's like, you know, Roger, like in this interpretation of Roger that we're talking about, where like he put the pieces together and he's like, I don't know, trying to inspire people to inspire maybe the right person to go and put all the pieces together. In this interpretation, this theory we're crafting, that like this is all leading towards like a repeat Void Century around 1,000 years or whatever it would be, but after the original Void Century's beginning, this like gap in history. You know, is what if Roger was like kind of benevolently saying, and especially like, you know, he knew he was gonna die, he knew a lot about the world and about maybe this prophecy or about maybe like the coming time or whatever. It's hard. It's kind of a thing in all of One Piece, and with the stuff that they were talking about this episode with, and previously with the hero stuff, it's like you kind of are like, if we're gonna be running around being pirates and looking for treasure, but you know, and not wanting to be a hero, but also eventually leading towards striking back against this tyrannical system and government that's like been putting the people down, and you know, all the stuff going on with Ace's mom and how they like kidnapped or and killed all these pregnant women or whatever, and anyone who could possibly be carrying Roger's kid, because they were afraid of like the stuff getting out. It's like all of this stuff is, if it is leading toward, like if it's all connecting back to this ancient rebellion or this ancient war, but where this one group of people was like tyrannized by, or maybe they were tyrannical, and then the world government rose up to defeat them, or whatever the actual details are, what happened. If that's the kind of story that's playing out, we're not just pirates anymore. We are, like, if we are intent on participating in that, you know, we're not gonna be the bad guys. You know, maybe we're just doing it for the lulz and just like to get the treasure. But for dramatic tension, it's kind of like this, we're gonna take part in this war, right? Like we get to the end, and there's gonna be a built up like crazy conflict that's gonna end all conflicts. We're just not gonna take part in that, because you know, and maybe that's a journey that Luffy will be on more, or maybe not. That, you know, maybe being a hero isn't so bad, or maybe that'll be like a journey that he takes personally. I don't know. Like when you just start thinking about it all, it's like that's kind of what this is probably headed towards. Something like that. Maybe not exactly what we're saying, but like something in this realm of, there was this ancient battle, there was this ancient war. This is like a shonen fighty series sometimes, most of the time. And it's all going to be foreshadowing for the conclusion, so that it has this bookend kind of nice thread. You know, how does that work with Luffy not wanting to be a hero? How does that work with Roger, you know, being a fun loving, because like the point of bringing all this up was I was talking about Roger doesn't seem like the type of guy who's like a revolutionary. He seems like a guy who's just like a fun loving pirate, but he got really serious when he was like talking to Garp that one time, and he seemed to like have a greater kind of awareness and purpose about him. I don't know. It's a lot of mystery. It's a lot of interesting stuff.
It's hard to know, especially because it's like, you know the series goes on for a long time. You know, like they're building these big, these references to like big things that happened in the past. Oftentimes in stories is like these big things happen in the past so that you can like kind of mirror them in the current story, but it turns out different. You know, like that is very typical But then it's like also it's like a big part of the story is just being on the cruise and having fun and being pirates. It's not like well, it is like I'm gonna be the best pirate, but like being the best pirate is not the same as like I'm gonna be the best knight or I'm gonna be the best ninja.
Yeah.
Like those are a different. Being the best pirate means a completely different thing than being the best at most other like things that a story would be about. So yeah, it's like
but functionally, like with what Luffy actually does, it ends up being more similar to other things than to being like a literal rape and pillage pirate who just like goes around, you know,
yeah,
like
he's not Blackbeard over here, yeah.
Yeah, so it ends up having a lot more similarities to something like a hero, especially when you're all about your friends, you're all about, you know, following your heart, all those like kind of things. So it's an interesting place that the group is in, and I'm going to be interested to see where the story goes with all this kind of stuff. And I'm interested just to learn more about all this kind of past history and things and try to put stuff together. I want to learn. I hope we learn one more fact about Joy Boy before this arc is over, like about who he was, not who he was involved with.
Person from above ground
who lived in the time of the Void Century.
Very mysterious, very purposefully mysterious.
Yeah.
Very, I feel like we're not going to hear about it for a long time type of mysterious. Joy Boy. Well,
my mind goes when they start bringing up like basically a messianic figure that's, you know, is again this whole thing we're talking about mirroring the past. Like we start getting more info about the past with the bond that Luffy shared with Shirahoshi and the way that they kind of grew closer. And the way that it's all about, someone will come down and save everyone or like do whatever. Luffy kind of fits the bill for that. If he's like mirroring or echoing Joy Boy, Luffy is on the cruise for the One Piece, that's going to be at the end of this poneglyph chain that is going to reveal some like the ultimate secret or way to defeat the world government, who is like this tyrannical evil piece of shit thing. I would think that Joy Boy is either, or Luffy might be like a literal reincarnation of Joy Boy if they're going that route, or similar to like Roger, just like a more ancient Roger, which I feel
Joy
like
D Boy. That's
yeah.
We're missing.
Well, because we already got like if you think about it, it would make sense because we got Franky and his line that goes back so far and just like all the way back to the Void Century, carrying down these plans, this like way of being a shipwright. And then we find out that Straw Hat Roger, then Straw Hat Shanks, and now Straw Hat Luffy. Maybe it fucking goes all the way back. I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know how a straw hat would survive almost
maybe
1,000
not like
years.
the straw hat, but maybe the idea,
the principle,
the idea of the metaphorical straw hat.
Yeah. And then I would say like maybe it's the D as well, but then Shanks I don't think has the D. But.
No, he doesn't. But yeah, Joy Boy, yeah, the potential similarity between Luffy, you know, if Luffy gets to this like, you know, the final conclusion kind of this story, and if he, you know, if part of it is like, you know, we make these friends along the way and then maybe have to, you know, hey guys, come and help with this, you know, if Shirahoshi can respond to that with the Noah, then like, you know, maybe something, but I don't know, like there's so many gaps in the knowledge that it's hard to be like, oh yeah, this specific thing could happen that they would need that, you know. Yeah. But
what I'm really curious about is like what was on those fucking papers that Franky had then, because like it could have just been a bluff at this point. Like is Pluton the knowledge of, or like being a shipwright and like being able to build mechs and shit? Like is that what Pluton is? You know, because Shirahoshi has the weapon and it's just something in her.
Yeah.
So like that's the weapon, but was Pluton a person who had the ability to build shit, and the plans for Pluton were just like a lot of like information? It wasn't actual plans for an actual ship. And so like Franky is carrying the will, and Franky is Pluton, Or iceberg is Pluton?
Maybe? I don't know.
I can kind of see that, but it's not the same thing as like what Shirahoshi has, you know? Like this, like they bring up like the actual reincarnation. Then who else is a reincarnation? This is where we get into insane territory. Probably no one. I don't know. What if Blackbeard's a fucking reincarnate? Oh shit, that would be insane. Wait, so everyone's always talking about Blackbeard, and I think that I wonder if this is even revealed at some point in the anime, or like what this all means, because everybody's talking about it like it's a theory. So I imagine that even in modern One Piece, when you're caught up, you don't actually know what the fuck is going on with Blackbeard, which kind of grinds my gears a little bit that we got another 500 episodes to not know what's going on with Blackbeard. But Blackbeard has 3 people in him. Is the prevailing theory? What if that's why he's like all concerned with all this greater shit? Maybe he is another person who's like a reincarnation, but it got like clogged up in him or something, and he like has multiple of these spirits that's like a reincarnation.
Of 3 people.
Or like the previous 3 people, or a line or whatever. Like he somehow has them all stocked up, or it fucked up with him, and he's like a crazy mutant like that, but like a spiritual mutant. And that would fit pretty well for an evil motherfucker like him.
And like, yeah, I don't know if it's fully like, reincarnation, or it's just like you
inherited will.
Yeah, because like that's a big thing in the show.
Yeah.
And also like, Shirahoshi, she's a mermaid princess that can speak with sea kings, but that is
it's
just
more
like
magical.
That's like a slightly more magical ability, but we do know that other like mer people and also fishmen can communicate with various sea creatures. So it's is she a reincarnation of this other person, or did she just like kind of get picked for like the person who
gets like recessive gene or
they're kind of like a recessive gene, or like
just the stars aligned with her birth, but it's not really like the spirit of this person's within her.
But she just has the ability that person had. And maybe we'll, do what that person never did.
And I like that. I would way prefer like Joy Boy being the first Straw Hat, or someone like that, or maybe he wasn't even the first, but like this ancient Straw Hat that kind of mirrors Luffy, mirrors Roger, Shanks, etc. I like that idea more if it's not an actual reincarnation. I like that idea because that's something that I really like about One Piece, as opposed to something like Naruto, where like Naruto, it's like, okay, these people have been reincarnated generation by generation forever, and it's like
they're getting
and it kind of waters down the characters of the people that are
like they can't be themselves because they're someone that already lived and did shit.
And they're just kind of playing out this thing, and like the struggle between Naruto and Sasuke doesn't matter as much, or it doesn't feel like it has as much weight to it, because it's just they were just playing out this script that had been written for them thousands of years ago. So I have the thing is, even if it is a reincarnation thing, I could see One Piece doing it better, more like an Avatar type thing, where it's like, Aang is technically a reincarnation of Roku, but he's not he's kind of like, there's similarities with the Avatars, but like everyone is their own person, and it's the metaphor, I think they say it in Korra at one point. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's an Avatar. They light a candle, and then light the second candle with the first candle, and then light the third candle with the second candle, all the way down to the 10th candle. Are they the same flame? It's like, no, kinda. I don't know. And but like there's different people. Yeah. Right.
I agree that I like that about One Piece as compared to something like Naruto with the reincarnation. It's just like, and the thing about like being a pirate and like specifically Luffy is just like he's so himself that I feel like it would be cheap if he was just someone, you know what I mean? Like he's very unique and he's carrying the will of all these different people, but that doesn't mean that he's not still his own person, and he is true to himself and is he's following a kind of a path that other people have done, but he's doing it in his own way. Kind of coincidentally almost. Like he's not oh, Gold Roger was here. I need to visit this town because Gold Roger visited it. You know, he just kind of is coincidentally along the same path.
Yeah, and I feel like that just fits more with what One Piece is, and I won't be mad if it's if it ends up being a reincarnation. We could just be completely wrong as well, but it's a kind of it seems like they're setting it up pretty, like something like that has to be going on, right?
Yeah, maybe.
You think? I don't know.
I'll think a little bit more. Maybe give this another.
I won't be reading the comments, that's for sure. I won't be reading the fucking comments of this, that's for damn sure. Because we might have got one thing right, and then they'll spoil it. But also, it's just the name Joy Boy. It's like when you start thinking of all this stuff, and like they mentioned Shirahoshi as a reincarnation, and then it's like, oh, Joy Boy, okay. And he came down, and there was like a relationship with the princess or the mermaid princess.
It's just a very specific.
It's like, okay, well, Luffy's a pretty joyous boy. Luffy is quite the joy boy, if I have to say so myself.
Yeah, if the shoe fits.
If there's if I were to describe one person as a joy boy, I would point to Luffy in that lineup. Who else matches that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's someone that is like pointing to or mirroring or echoing or relating to, because as a person from the past, like if it's related to somebody, also it's the main character, like, and it's just a kind of a classic thing to do. But yeah, what really gets me is then it's like, and the fact that Poseidon's dad is named Neptune, like that to me, that what I get excited about with all this is, what are the other weapons? Is Oda going, because Oda set up a similar kind of motif in Baroque works where everything was like 1 2 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then he ran out of things, and then but he didn't actually even use all of the names. Like I noticed after going through all Baroque works, it's like Mr. I think 7 or so, there's a few in there that just like don't even have a design, because we just never got to it because the story evolved to the point where he didn't.
It was just irrelevant to have 50 of the same guy, and also that naming convention, like it wasn't necessary. By the time he got to the end of the line, it was like it wasn't worth it to have all of these people. So then it's like what happened was he set a naming convention, or he's using a template that he's gonna work off of, and then he can get through everything and have like enough space to create anticipation for us. So then we're thinking like, okay, 1 2 3 4 okay, so there's that many, and then they have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all that kind of thing. You can anticipate it by hearing one of their names, like Miss Wednesday, as in Vivi. So maybe he did something like that early on with the weapons, and there's just gonna be 2. Maybe there's just 2, and it's just Pluton and Poseidon. Maybe, and I really hope he commits to it, and there is 9, or if you include the sun, 10. I think that would be pretty cool, and it makes me really hyped up to see, like... Did we do this before? What order are the planets in? What's the second farthest other than Pluto, since Pluto's not a planet anymore?
I don't fucking know. Wait, I'm not gonna look just in case there is something about One Piece.
Look up planets. Yeah,
so
that's what I was...
Yeah, Pluto, and then it's Neptune. Or Poseidon. And then Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury.
Yeah, just I was just curious because I thought that it was Neptune, but I thought maybe it could have been Uranus as well. I haven't been looking at planets very much since elementary school. Although we are watching Orb, which is about planets. But anyway, I was thinking it's just interesting that there's obviously Neptune, Poseidon, whatever. If you're going off this planet thing, it would make sense that Pluton is the first one. If you're working your way in, then like those would be the first
thing,
2.
And then we get to Neptune. So then I think it lends credence to the theory that this is kind of where Oda was thinking. Yeah. And I think because Pluton was also the first mentioned, and then it was Poseidon.
Yes.
So, I think that does lend credence to, because then we're getting to, and then if the sun is, and it's like it's a pretty, like it's not like so focused on, but in this arc, I think it was focused on a bit more. And then in other times, it was like a motif that's been used by Oda a lot. So maybe he would do that, maybe not. But it would be just a nice round number because he has Pluto, so it would be 10 total.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. We need to be on the lookout for Uranus or other names for that, which I can't think of right now.
Well, yeah, it would be just like, because these are are these the Roman names? Is that what it is, or?
Yeah, because Poseidon is Greek and Neptune is.
So then there's
Roman.
like there's Greek analogs for all of these. So yeah, I think I think it at this point it's pretty clear that must be where Oda's head at least was at.
Again, it's not like the kind of thing like, oh, what if I named it after this and then like just like forgot about it, or like
I don't think he forgot. He clearly did not forget about it.
But like if he could have gone off that train of thought, if it wasn't interesting to, we know that he does that all the time. Like
with Brook works,
even if he sticks to the idea of like he wants 10 or 9 weapons, maybe he will lose interest in the naming convention that he picked earlier on. Maybe it meant something, but maybe it also was just like what was interesting to him at the time, and the ideas of what they're going to be used for could still be there, while the naming convention could change to be more reflective of like what he's been cooking up over the like however many years since he first introduced it.
It's not about like a retcon, because he like in classic Oda fashion is he only he's usually pretty good about only including things he's actually going to use, but what he will do is before committing to using something, he might create an expectation by just the naming, like literally by naming something Pluto, you kind of, you don't commit yourself to it, so he doesn't have to commit to it if he doesn't want to. But you're the reason why you would use that name is setting up audience expectations. So yeah, I think it could be something like Baroque works, where he doesn't go all the way there, and it could just be like a couple different weapons, or maybe there's a few more that we haven't seen. But we could also in the next couple arcs hear about maybe in the next couple episodes hear about a bunch of other shit like that.
Yeah, you never know.
And then we also heard about last episode the Tamate box, which got stolen.
Was that supposed to be? I don't know. Were we supposed to like know what that meant, and like, oh, that was very valuable, or like they don't seem to be really reacting about it as if it was important.
I think it's supposed to be like the fucking Ark of the Covenant or something. I don't know what the hell that was. One comment was mentioned that apparently that was mentioned before. I saw a comment previously that like it's not the first time that's been mentioned, so maybe we just didn't notice, which is completely normal to do. But yeah. Interesting.
There's music for this. Oh, because of this.
What else? What about what she asked about? Oh my god, we're still going. 3.
Hey.
And what about Pluton?
And who do we have here? Are you joking me
Someone
right
kill this
now?
guy. You don't see that.
This has got to be a joke. This guy comes back now. Someone have a gun? Actually, you know what? Try and kidnap her. See what happens. Do it. I dare you. So we're supposed to be paying that to the person that's protecting this island?
State of the world. Good question.
I'm always out of the loop. I don't fucking know anything.
More lore. Thank God somebody else will be here to witness what he's about to say. The OG crew plus Chopper. What?
Oh.
Why did they fight? My guess? AKAINU was pissed off that he didn't get recognized for his efforts at Marineford, and AOKIJI got promoted.
Yeah,
instead, because
that would be what I would think. That would be the only thing that I could think of as to why they would fight, because AKAINU probably thinks that AOKIJI is just way too soft and like lets people get away with stuff.
I mean, or they had a battle royale who would be stronger, but I don't see why Garp and Sengoku would do a might is right approach to that position.
And also,
I guess I do see why, but because it's the biggest position.
Yeah.
And Sengoku is the strongest motherfucker in the Navy, probably, other than Garp, maybe, but I don't know.
But it just seems like, it must be a sort of a clash of ideals, because I think that if AKAINU, like, I feel like...
After everything he did, right?
I feel like he's also, like, he's not the type to fight... like his own guys if he thinks that they're doing the right thing, but if it's something that he disagrees, like, you know, if he wants to like weed out any like weakness or like dishonorable kind of behavior, you know. Chopper, you knew about this? You didn't tell us, you fucking bastard.
How did you find out? Wait, you're on a deserted island. Correct. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
But this was worth fighting for? Ooh, wow.
Damn. Who won?
Who do you think won?
I don't know. If AKAINU won, then that would be fucking really, really bad for us.
I think AKAINU would probably win, just because of their fruits.
10 days.
Holy shit!
This is really bad.
No frickin' way. That's really bad.
Yeah. It almost couldn't get any worse.
That's really bad. And Kizaru's over there just fucking hitting the samba whisk.
Oh.
What?
I would say that's a huge fucking loss.
He fucking quit?
Oh. They instate someone else.
Pacifista? Maybe? God damn it. Oh, in the New World.
Mm-hmm. What if Garp finally became an admiral? Well, that makes a lot of sense, because he literally took his power. What a dirty rat!
Oh.
Trying to find people with good stuff.
Well, one guy just left the Navy who has one of the most powerful ones.
Oh. Lock in, Luffy! No, Chopper. I'll handle it when it comes up, Jinbei. Jinbei, at this point you should just join the crew, because, I don't know what we'll do without you.
Oh no. What great timing.
Seriously? Do you have a bad feeling about this, Luffy? What gives you that idea?
Senses them? Observation? Question mark?
Could have at least locked the door, bro.
A wild animal.
Oh my fucking god.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, me either.
Stop! Stop!
This sounds so Into the water.
Into the water. Into the water. Into the water. Get
Dive.
in the water.
Someone just needs to beat this guy into a pulp sooner rather than later. I'm sick of him.
He's already a pulp. He's already a pulp.
Okay.
Is this another Absalom moment?
Stop it. Okay, Luffy, you better hurry up and get in here. Oh, well, they're here. Can we, you know, we just kind of smooth things over with humans, but I hope that no one will mind if we fucking kill
I love that you
those
paused
guys.
it there. That's your response? Wait a minute.
All these crazy backgrounds.
Thank the Lord for armament hockey.
Didn't even need it.
I mean, he probably did it in order to get him out of his form, right?
Oh.
Probably?
Bro is so relevant, I forgot about him.
Is there anything we can do to repay you? How did that happen?
You... Damn it!
I was gonna do.
Exactly. She's gonna go and steal it from him. Them all. Go get him. This is how this Are
Brother!
you joking me?
Oh my fucking god.
No, you won't. You've been beat like 5 times in a fucking row, bro. Oh. Finally? Finally?
They aged quickly because of the
Damn.
drug.
You're looking rough.
Jesus.
His teeth are like person teeth. They're not even sharp.
He's so weak.
That's so fucked up. This is a good punishment, though. They literally did it to themselves. Oh.
Oh. So it had drugs in it?
What the hell?
10 years ago?
But they still were producing it.
But they figured out how to reproduce it.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Did you a whole lot of good, I see. Mm. It's a bit of both.
Yeah, no doubt.
Open Pandora's box over here.
This voice actor is so good.
It's pathetic.
Keep yapping.
Damn.
Jesus. Oh, what is it now? Fuck.
Oh. After Luffy just ate all the candy.
Never mind. That's not what I thought this was. What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
Well.
Oh. Oh. Big Mom.
Maybe Sanji can whip some up real quick. You guys still have any ingredients left?
I thought that this was the Unluckies.
Oh.
2 of them showed up, and then there was like, it kind of, I've been looking at GIFs of them recently for like the Patreon posts and stuff. So then I was like, is this the Unluckies? And they like evolved or something? Because one of them was a bird, and then the other one was like a little badger guy. It would be crazy if they like evolved somehow.
And then they suddenly worked for someone else.
But I don't think it's them. But anyway,
so
they lost Whitebeard, and the other thing they could do was make a candy factory and then start shipping candy to Big Mom. So maybe now's a good time to say I've known about Big Mom a little bit, but I didn't want to spoil you about knowing about her.
Didn't they tell us?
No, we've known about her for some time, but like I know what she looks like. I know where she's from, and I know one of her children. So I just thought I should say that now, because I've been holding off saying that, talking about it. I've been talking about it like I didn't know what it was, because I didn't want to spoil you on it. But I'm just saying, because I figured now is a good time as any to say. But I didn't know that this gluttonous angle, but from what I know about her, it does make sense. It seems like she's kind of a, like, you know, everybody's paying tribute with like candy. She'll destroy a whole country just for sweets. Which is kind of a wacky idea, but
Seems a bit rude.
With what I know about her, it kind of makes sense. But I don't honestly know very much. I'll reveal more details as we get them, but I don't know whether I knew it or not. But yeah. But yeah.
Hordy finally got what he deserved. Somehow his heart is still beating, which is quite frankly a miracle. But this is a great punishment for them. They're still full of hatred, but at least they're old and their bones are disintegrating.
Dub.
Huge win. This fucking guy.
Caribou.
So bad. So terrible. Hate him. I'm glad he got one punched out into the sea, and then Nami just punches the 3 of them. Go get the treasure, you fucking bastards. That was really good. I can't believe how much lore we were getting.
AKAINU
fucking AKAINU.
AOKIJI fighting it out. AKAINU won, of course, just because their natures, but also because of all the things that we talked about with AKAINU's like strength of will. It makes sense, like, you know, obviously it makes sense that the lava would beat ice. But, you know, it's not necessarily set in stone. You know, like with its devil fruits, you never know.
They fought for 10 days, so it's not just like he
but like what I'm saying is logic would dictate that AKAINU would win just based on the elements, but that's not really what the point of that fight was, I don't think. I think what it's saying is it's talking more like it's similar to how we compared Ace and his like fiery nature compared to AKAINU's like strength of will, and then both their emotional natures being represented with their devil fruits. I think that it's really like a clash of will, and that's kind of the point of their fight, it seems like. And it makes sense given what we know about AOKIJI, how he is willing to like bend the rules, and he's willing to be a little bit more fluid. And his sense of justice is a little bit more nuanced, whereas AKAINU's is steadfast, strong, and unyielding. So it makes sense that in a clash of wills, it would AKAINU would come out on top. It might like split the difference, so to speak. Yeah,
very good, but very bad at the same time, because it was like, oh, you know, and I guess that's part of it, because it's like if AOKIJI was put in charge, then that would just mean that things would kind of continue on as usual, because he was kind of similar to Sengoku, it seems like. So now with AKAINU in charge, it's a lot more it's just things are going to be different. This isn't going to be the same Marines that it was before. There's going to be a different vibe to things, and I feel like, you know, that's kind of important if you're like ramping up the tension, because they weren't that scary before. But with AKAINU in charge, I feel like they're going to be fucking really scary.
Yeah, because Sengoku was kind of like mediating the Five Elder Stars, like the kind of shit that they were doing when, you know, all the stuff we saw during like the cipher poll and Ace's baby flashback and stuff. Like there's shit there like Sengoku kind of had to do because he's like a middleman between the Five Elder Stars and all of this really big end of the world shit and you know, everything beneath him. So he ended up taking the mantle, it seems like, despite being kind of reluctant, which is the kind of leader that you would want, is someone who can you know, even if they're forced to do fucked up terrible things because of the system, somebody who can hopefully every now and then do something like not continue the war at Marineford because it's just gonna be casualties for no reason, that type of thing. You know, if there's gonna be a corrupt system, it should probably not be corrupt, but a good way to maybe trend towards that is having people like Sengoku. So is probably in a better case than it will be with AKAINU in command now, because he is going to go especially, like, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, well, also AKAINU, as we know, he doesn't really tolerate any type of stuff, even within his own ranks. If you try and run away from the battle, you know, someone like AOKIJI might just let you go.
Yeah.
Someone like AKAINU is gonna hunt you down and murder you in the streets. Because you like, so it's like, you know, how, and the whole thing is like, you know, we've talked a million times about like, you know, Garp has kind of always been doing his own thing, like, you know, Smoker's doing his own thing. There's like multiple different Marines that have kind of been doing their own thing. Like, they're still working for the Marines, but they're, you know, there's a little bit more going on to them. They're not like AKAINU and just 100% locked in. But if he's in charge, it's like they're not going to be able to get away with doing the same things that they always do. You know, like when Garp let Luffy go, and then they're like, Garp, why the fuck did you let Luffy go? And he's like, it's my grandson. And they're like, hey, well, don't fucking let him go next time, you know. AKAINU, I'm sure there would be much more severe punishments with someone like him in charge.
Yeah.
For stuff like that.
Exactly.
So it's not good. And yeah, Blackbeard makes sense that he's one of the emperors.
He's advancing, and now
Can't believe it's not Buggy. Can't believe it's not Emperor Buggy. They should have had him up there too. But yeah, it makes sense, especially the fact that he just took Whitebeard's power. It's like, of course he would just fill that slot, because it's not like he's not powerful in his own right, but he might have needed a little bit more time to get to that level. But since he just took Whitebeard's spot, it's just like, all right, here you go, you know.
Fucking Caribou, loser. And then these guys showing up.
I didn't think we were gonna get like something more like this tacked on the end, but it's interesting to see. I wonder if we're gonna have to go and like find her and like meet with her or something, so that she doesn't come here and like fuck everything up because they didn't give her candy.
I mean, I think these guys are just gonna like fuck everything up because they didn't give her candy. If these guys are like on her crew.
Yeah, but I'm saying like maybe we can like make some kind of a thing with them where we'll handle it so that Fishman Island doesn't just get destroyed after it almost just got destroyed.
Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna go, but I'm sure it'll work out, right?
Yeah.
We didn't save Fishman Island just for these guys to nuke it.
No.
Leave a like and subscribe. See you next one. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.